we are. We're back here once again on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, another fine horror masterpiece. And we've got some interesting actors in this one. One would be Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee, known for playing Dracula in the Hammer horror films. Horror of Dracula was the very first. Many put him as the runner-up to Bela Lugosi, but even though if you talk to somebody that's from Britain, they will tell you that Christopher Lee was the real Dracula. So, in any case, we love Christopher Lee when we can get him on the Crimson Theater. And we even have Telly Savalas in this one tonight, which is crazy. Telly Savalas was probably the first bald, skinhead, shaved head television character. Yul Brynner, of course, did that act way before, but Telly Savalas was Kojak. In the 70s, for some reason, there was all kinds of very quirky police and detective character shows. Kojak was a bald police officer who liked to suck on Tootsie Rolls all the time. And he didn't have a cigarette, he had a Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
And, of course, they played him as a real, hard-nosed guy, hardcore,
Yeah.
And then at that time, that shaved head kind of was like shocking in a way. I mean, and now today, that's a very common way people wear or don't wear their hair. So back then, though, it really puts you off a little bit. So that's pretty interesting that he's in this film. I can't remember whether or not he has hair, though.
I know, that is very interesting that you say that, though, because thinking about it, at that time, the hair is always so voluminous, and it's all about the hair.
Right.
So, yeah, having that would definitely be a little bit of a shocker at first.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yul Brynner did the same thing, but again, Telly Savalas, very interesting actor. And what we've got is the Horror Express. I was going to say that other movie that's maybe it is kind of based on that other film about a horror film, The Oriental Express.
Oh, okay.
That was another mystery, but so there's a lot going on here. You got a Rasputin character. You've got all kinds of crazy stuff happening on this train ride, which would be pretty scary to have sort of murder and deceit and horror happening on a train, and you're stuck on, basically. I mean, what are you going to get off in the middle of the mountains somewhere? You're going to jump off the train?
No, when you're on it, you're going, and good luck trying to get off. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine trying to. I mean, I wouldn't have any problems because I have wings, but as far as everybody else, kind of screwed.
Yes, this is no Polar Express going on here tonight. Yeah, big shows coming up, though. The Port on the March 2nd. Yes, March 2nd. Amsdale. Fiendish Phantoms featuring Caretaker Collins, a horror host in the Madison area. And of course, Roosevelt Dolls at the Port. You got to come out to the Port and have a snort. Those shows are always way fun. You never know what's going to happen. The place is always full of fun characters that have a good time. So,
absolutely. We definitely want to see you out there.
Yeah, we're working on a new CD, too, for Roosevelt Dolls, making music and
getting studio time.
Having some interesting stuff happen in there.
All right, keep us updated with
I will keep you updated. There'll have to be hopefully we have a release party by the time of March 2nd. I'm kind of pushing the envelope a little bit on that one.
That would be cool.
We need to make it happen.
That would be cool. Do the Roosevelt Dolls have their music available for download at all?
It does have some. We have tracks at rooseveltdolls.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
And there will be more added. There's 6 there now, and there's 7 more releases coming up.
Oh, perfect.
So we're getting to full album status there, and there's more tunes too, but just need a little fine tuning. Some of the new stuff, a lot of good stuff is happening with Sherry and Randy singing in the band, so I don't have to sing all the songs. That's sort of interesting. This band actually, you get in a lot of bands and they don't reinvest and whatever, and they just play out, and then that's what it is. But right now we're doing what I think is the right way to do it, is to put the money, invest the money back into studio recording, merchandise, whatnot, and then develop the band and
make it goes.
It grows.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, and get it started, keep it going.
Well, we got to keep the Ghoulies involved, so
Absolutely.
We're probably going to have some CDs release parties, and then maybe a really big push for a fundraiser for some major studio songs.
That would be so much fun.
It's always a lot of fun. But we want to hold you up here. We want to get you right into it. That's right. Christopher Lee, Telly Savalas, fantastic film, The Horror Express on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater.
The following report to the Royal Geological Society by the undersigned Alexander Saxton is a true and faithful account of events that befell the Society's expedition in Manchuria. As the leader of the expedition, I must accept responsibility for its ending in disaster, but I will leave to the judgment of the honorable members the decision as to where the blame for the catastrophe lies.
isn't a seat left.
My name is Saxton, Alexander Saxton. If you will check, you will find a telegram I sent you 3 weeks ago instructing you to reserve accommodation for me.
There's nothing I can do. Hello? Yes,
Cut the bag you saw that anyway.
yes.
Well, look who's here. Professor Saxton, I presume?
Dr. Wells,
And what are you doing in Shanghai?
I've asked you the same thing.
Oh, I'm just collecting a few specimens. Miss Jones, let me introduce Professor Alexander Saxton. He dabbles in fossils and bones.
Glad to meet you, Professor.
How do you do?
Miss Jones has been assisting me. Bacteriology. Excellent technician.
For a woman, he means.
Excuse me. 2 private compartments to Moscow, if you please.
2, you say? Will that be all?
And 3 crates of animals.
Impossible.
I know I'm asking you to perform miracles, but perhaps it will help. Thank you. It's called squeeze in China. The Americans don't know how.
And in Britain, we call it bribery and corruption. Now, sir, excuse me.
You... Get out!
Huh? Sir Alexander Saxton?
Yes?
Captain O'Higgins, sir. General Wang told me to find you, and to make myself useful.
Now I remember. I do have your Excellency's ticket. Your ticket, right here.
Thank you.
And the Lord have mercy on his soul. Not that he deserves it, the dirty thief. You have his things? You knew him? Krasinski, the locksmith. He could open any trunk with a hairpin.
A thief? But he was blind.
Blind, he could spot a policeman a mile away. I'll be damned. The work of the devil.
Can I be of any assistance, Father?
This is yours.
It is, but I demand an explanation.
Whatever you have here is unholy and must be destroyed. Inspector Mirov, what is in there, Excellency?
Fossils.
What is a fossil?
A stone.
Stones. There wouldn't be something valuable in there, like gold.
Gold? It's a laboratory specimen. No value to a thief.
Where there is God, there is always a place for the cross. Even on this stone floor, just so.
But Satan is evil. And where evil is, there is no place for the cross.
Rubbish. A conjurer's trick. Captain?
Yes, sir.
You get your men to put the crate on the train.
Ready? Lift it up. Off you go.
Where's crate C?
It's all there, sir.
Oh, yeah. I want to be careful with this one.
Oh, thank you.
Follow me.
What are you going to astound the scientific world with this time?
You'll read about it in the Society's annual report. It's a remarkable fossil.
Fossil? But you've got something live in there, I heard it.
You're mistaken.
You won't need to feed it then.
The occupant hasn't eaten in 2 million years.
That's one way to economize on food bills.
Baggage man. Alinka, what's the matter with you?
Yes, Countess?
You have a safe of valuables?
Yes, Countess. I shall make out a receipt.
Excuse me. Alinka's afraid of something. What do you have in that crate?
Oh, nothing that would interest Alinka, madame.
Normally she likes Englishmen. All we Poles do.
I am honored, madame.
Oh yes, England. Queen Victoria, crumpets, Shakespeare.
I admire Poland, madame. I believe that there is a bond between our countries.
My husband, the Count Petrovsky, says that in the 15th century, your King Henry betrayed us to the Russians.
I hope that you and your husband, madame, will accept my profoundest apologies.
Oh, she's really afraid. I wonder what it is.
May I escort you back to your carriage, madame?
Oh, thank you. Excuse me.
Yes?
I was on the platform before when that mad monk was carrying on.
Yes?
I'm an engineer, a scientist. And this is ordinary chalk. How do you explain it's not writing on that crate?
Hypnosis, yoga. These mystics can be very convincing. They can even hypnotize themselves.
The fresh food we will pick up. Who will pay for it, sir? Oh, just give an account of how much you spend. If someone were to drill a little hole in this crate during the night and take a look at what's inside, I'd be very grateful.
It's in order.
Help me.
In what way, madam?
Is this number 8?
That's next door, Wells compartment.
There, don't cry. Everything will be all right.
Excuse me.
Sorry, dear fellow, I'm afraid you're in the wrong pew. Here, number 8, do you see?
8A, lower berth. 8B, upper berth.
Don't worry. Look here. I was supposed to have this compartment to myself.
If you don't mind.
I'm sorry if I'm in your way.
Excuse me. I have no ticket and I have to get out of Shanghai. I'm sure I can make it worth your while.
The young lady's in trouble.
Well, what do you suggest we do about it?
Couldn't you double up with somebody else?
Miss Jones?
Steady.
I'm sure we can all get along very well together.
Even the dog knows it.
When the Englishman comes to call, what should I wear?
Sure of yourself, aren't you? The blue one with the décolleté. Or perhaps the red one. You're jesting with her immortal soul. That's why we keep you, Pujardov. Our immortal souls are your concern. She's afraid of something.
Tell me, Pujardov,
Yes?
which do you think I should wear for the Englishman? The red or the blue?
Enough. I forbid you to talk this way. You forbid? Forgive me, Your Excellency. My concern for the spiritual welfare of the Countess, I forgot myself. I will pray for humility. Pray hard, Pujardov, or you'll find yourself praying for a job, too. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
It's the piece I was playing. I wonder who it is.
I thought one of you might know what happened to the baggage man.
I haven't the remotest idea.
What about you?
Perhaps it had something to do with what's inside that crate.
I agree with you. He was trying to open it when something happened. What?
Fortunately, he was interrupted.
Yes. By whom? Why are you so worried about it being opened?
It may be my fault. I asked the baggage man to take a look. I was curious.
It was no concern of yours. Or of yours. Good night.
One man dead, another missing. It's time we open this box.
You will do no such thing.
Give me the key. See if you can open the crate with that. Go ahead!
The baggage man.
What was in there?
I told you, a fossil, part ape, part man. It lived 2 million years ago.
Are you telling me that an ape that lived 2 million years ago got onto that crate, killed the baggage man and put him in there, then locked everything up neat and tidy and got away?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Lock him up. We'll search the train and find it, whatever it is, and destroy it.
But if it's alive...
I want this kept quiet. I don't want to panic the passengers.
My glass is empty.
Oh, forgive me. My mind was elsewhere.
What is it?
I'm sorry. I can't tell you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Haven't we met?
I don't believe so.
Yes, at the governor's palace, General Wang.
You're mistaken.
Of course, I beg your pardon. It was somebody else. What's the matter?
The eye of that fish. It's white.
Naturally, it's boiled.
Boiled. Yes.
Is it true you're a doctor?
Ask me when I finish my dinner.
It's urgent.
What are the symptoms?
He's dead. You saw him.
Oh, that one. There's nothing I can do for him.
Now there's one more dead. One of my soldiers. The same white eyes. I want to know the cause of death. Who's dead? Keep your nose out of it. You didn't hear anything.
Excuse me. Is Professor Sexton's fossil still at large?
I think the fossil, or whatever it is, escaped. Jumped off the train.
Miss Jones, I shall need your assistance.
Yes, well, at your age, I'm not surprised.
With an autopsy?
Oh, well, that's different.
Very curious.
A genetic defect, obviously.
Scalpel?
Mm-hmm.
Can you keep that still?
Mm.
What is he doing?
Trepan.
Don't get up, please. I see you have decided to dine alone, Sir Alexander.
I've eaten in worse circumstances and in worse company.
Burns off.
Here you are, Doctor.
This is monstrous. It's beyond nature, beyond reason.
Some letter of that afterlife to spell. And by my soul returned to me and answered, I myself am heaven and hell.
You're in bad humor because you've lost your box of balls.
That box of bones, madame, could have solved many of the riddles of science. If the theory of evolution is confirmed, if the science of biology is revolutionized, if the very origin of man is determined.
I have heard of evolution. It's immoral.
It's a fact. And there's no morality in a fact.
And what about the baggage man? And that poor thief at the station?
What about them?
They are dead. Was your creature responsible for that?
Probably.
And you don't care?
A baggage man and a thief? You're right, madame. I don't care as much as I should.
Can you tell me how he died?
Smooth as a baby's bottom. You saw this man today and he was normal.
Absolutely.
It must be a mutation, a freak of nature.
What's so special about this brain?
Learning and memory are engraved on the normal brain, leaving a wrinkled surface. This brain has been drained. The memory has been removed, like chalk erased from a blackboard.
Come in.
Thank you. It's all yours.
I won't be long.
Miss, it's Dr. Wells. Miss, are you all right? Miss, are you there?
Come in.
Feeling better?
Yes. Anything wrong?
That woman who was killed. The engineer, you know, the chess player. He told me that she was an international spy.
Yes, I know.
Oh, you do? Well, could that fact have had anything to do with her death?
What do you think?
Dr. Wells and I performed an autopsy on her. Her brain was completely smooth, just like the baggage man's. Everything had been erased. Now, I have a theory about this.
I'm only a policeman, Professor. I don't have much education.
Well, I'd make it simple. Supposing that creature, the one you killed, was capable of taking ideas directly from other people's brains and transferring them to its own.
You mean it sucked other people's brains?
Absorbed through the eyes. That was our first clue, the eyes going white.
Then, if the beast had absorbed your brains, all of your education would have gone into its brain. It would have been as clever as you.
Much more so, because what it had taken from me would have been added to the learning that it already had.
Professor, spy, baggage man, and thief. What was the creature looking for?
Well, that we'll never know, now that it's dead. And yet...
What?
A creature like that. How would it ever die?
Inspector?
What is it?
I found this. The animal had it.
The animal had it?
Give it to me. It belonged to Count Petrovsky.
How do you know?
I saw him put it in the safe.
harder than a diamond. That's why the spies are after it. French, German, English. But they're wasting their time. What really matters is the formula. And that, gentleman, is safe. Up here.
What happened to the girl? The spy?
She's dead. The fossil, or whatever it was, killed her. But there's no more danger, Countess.
Beast is not dead.
I put 4 bullets into him.
You think evil can be killed with bullets? Satan lives. The Unholy One is among us. Oh, Shamo, Shamo, Shamo.
Specimen jar.
What do you expect to find in the eye fluid?
I don't know.
This is incredible. What?
It's the last thing the creature saw.
The police inspector.
The image has been retained in the fluid.
Exactly. The creature's visual memory is located not in its brain, but in the eye itself. Can you identify anything?
It's a brontosaurus. A pterodactyl.
Incredible.
This is not a map.
It can only be the Earth, seen from space.
I hope I'm not intruding. People on the train are becoming afraid, Professor.
People on long journeys become bored, madame. They crave excitement.
Then there's no more danger.
It's all finished.
And what about your science? The evolution you were talking about.
Look for yourself.
Come here, Pujado. There's something I want to show you. Look.
the second day he created the earth. Where did you get it?
There, from the creature's eye.
The eye of Satan.
Nonsense. There's a scientific explanation.
You know it?
No. Not yet.
For the fall, before Satan was banished from the throne of God, the evil one looked down from heaven and did see...
Rubbish!
Jarkov! Pujardov! Where is he?
I don't know.
He's gone mad.
I'll look in the baggage car.
Right.
Looking for the thief, Miss Jones?
You know about it.
What's all the fuss?
You get back that eye, and there's 1,000 rubles in it for you.
1,000 rubles for an eye?
There's something in it. Pictures.
Pictures of what?
Pictures of the Earth in prehistoric times. Pictures of the Earth seen from space.
Who else has seen such pictures?
Dr. Wells, Professor Saxon, and that pretty countess.
I see. There's nothing in your head of any use. Another killing.
Stop the train! There's no right.
I want to get off.
There's no law.
Quiet.
There's been talk about getting off the train. Well, you can forget it.
I'll complain to the authorities.
I'm not one of your musics.
If necessary, I'll shoot anyone who tries to stop the train.
Shoot, you stupid Russian.
Who else has seen such pictures?
Dr. Wells, Professor Saxton, and that pretty countess. Wells, Saxton, countess. Wells, Saxton, countess. Wells, Saxton, countess.
Wells, is this creature dead or not? If it is, who killed Miss Jones?
Do you have any idea?
No, Inspector, I haven't, but I've asked the conductor to wire ahead to stop the train at the next station.
What's the idea? Tell me who you are. Tell me, I will serve you. I want to help you.
It's like some contagious disease.
Well, if there's a disease, there must be symptoms.
Fever? You could take everyone's temperature.
The eyes. Why do their eyes go white?
Do you think it's true what they say about those horrible white eyes?
Oh, that part is true enough.
Ah, Inspector. It's only you now.
What about me?
Your eyes. We must examine your eyes, too.
Certainly.
Perhaps you should test for radiation or other invisible rays.
X-rays? Well, it's a thought, but on this train, how would we go about it?
Are you a scientist?
An engineer, but I try to keep up with things.
That's to be admired.
Inspector, I suggest you tell all these people to stay together, in groups or in pairs, so that if anything does happen to anybody, then somebody can raise the alarm. On no account must anybody be left alone.
News of the train.
The train will be here in exactly 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor. That's what it says here. Doesn't say it in words, Your Honor, but in code. It's like another...
I don't know. The train keeps rolling. And most of us here in town, I'm sure we probably never really, you can always hear the train from somewhere.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
I mean, my entire life I've grown up here in the train. Well, it comes right past where I live, for one thing.
Same.
But, basically kind of correlates with Roosevelt Road on that angle from down to 22nd. But then, of course, all along the Sheridan corridor there, the train goes all the way down to Illinois. So it's like you never get away from the sound of a train.
No, it's very, I'm so used to it. It's like comforting almost. Right in between, my parents' house is right in between the train tracks going along Sheridan and Greenridge Cemetery. So I couldn't get away from either of them.
Oh, there you go. I know there was, what's interesting is the train comes right, Forest Park area where some very nice homes have the train right back in their backyard.
Yeah.
And there was an alderman that lived not too far from there. And he said, start complaining about them blowing the horn when they crossed Pershing Boulevard. So whoever was driving the train, they did it like triples and doubles. They were purposely,
blowing that horn.
Sometimes, it's just something like that's so obvious. And it's weird.
It shakes your whole house.
The train sound. We've got one song that I think has the trademark train sound to it, but definitely Subway Train by the New York Dolls. The rhythm of the song sounds like you're going down the tracks. And then there's this really cool, neat little guitar thing that Johnny Thunders does. And it's really such a simple thing. But it sounds like the horn of the train in that song.
Oh, very
And I'm like,
cool.
really, I hope people catch that because that's a one of those parts that I would argue, some music you go see a band, very two-dimensional. Mm-hmm. Other bands have more of the quality of giving you sort of imagery, and that's what happens in that song as you get this image of the train.
Very cool.
I might use, perhaps as a basic common example, Pink Floyd might be a band that you could say is sort of three-dimensional and has imagery because they're really working with sort of a soundtracky vibe and sound. Right. But so I like the song that has the train sound, and that I believe whether it was some sort of myth or legend or made up, it still sounds good to tell. Is the old blues guys were traveling around the country in the boxcars that they were playing their guitar along with the rhythm of the train tracks.
Oh yeah.
So that's where some of that old bluesy train sounding kind of stuff
That makes
kind of
sense.
came
I never
from.
thought about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And a lot of those things, like Woody Guthrie traveling the country, a folk guitar player hero, and that's just what he did. He jumped boxcars. He had a job. He was he had a regular job and a wife and everything, and he just couldn't do it. He had to just with no money get on a boxcar with his guitar and just travel around.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you see in Chicago when it was so cold the past few weeks ago or whatnot that we had they'd set the train tracks on fire in the train yards so that the tracks wouldn't freeze, and the trains were just keeping going over them like nothing. And I kept seeing all these memes that were like, "This is the most gothic thing," and they were describing. I don't remember what it said.
The
but
most
it was so
gothic
described. Like, I live in the most freezing place on earth.
Well, I mean, if you're in Chicago, I'm sure you can find plenty of places like that you could definitely say are very industrial goth.
Absolutely, we'll have to do a photo shoot with something like that one of these days.
Absolutely, we have to. There's so many possibilities with that, and a lot of good industrial bands through the years. Skinny Puppy and maybe Ministry, and oh god, there's a whole movement of that industrial music, industrial goth. Yeah, we need a good goth club back in Kenosha again. That was fun.
That'd be very fun.
Things have changed so much. It sort of turned into steampunk.
Yep.
A little bit, which is just different. I guess things carry on, but a lot of hardcore goth people on Facebook and Instagram, and I mean, they constantly, I don't know what it is, they constantly suggest them to me. So, here's
I'm
another,
sure.
your girl with black hair and dark makeup and tattoos, you know, like.
Yeah, there's a lot. The goth scene has definitely, it's come back a lot in like the Instagram, Facebook type of world, but
Right.
it's also been very glamorized.
Very glamorized, and of course, well, the horror is back in popularity again
Yep.
too. So.
They're materializing it again.
Right. Yeah, that's okay though. It keeps it alive, and then hopefully we keep Crimson Theater at least if we can hit the 20-year mark. You know.
Oh yeah, we'll have a big party then.
We've had a few big parties. We need a compilation of all those big parties.
We do. I do know I have a lot of ghoulie friends who would be interested in joining one of our parties one of these days.
Okay, we'll have to make sure that happens.
So.
I can set up a goth night over at Fex, can't we?
No, absolutely.
They got an internet jukebox there?
Internet jukebox.
Okay, anything can happen anywhere with an internet jukebox.
There's a good amount.
Yeah.
Good amount on there.
Believe me, there's a lot more out there than Led Zeppelin and Leonard Skinner. All right. On that note, get right back into it now. That's right. Horror Express. Christopher Lee. Oh, what a great actor. We'll talk more about him after the next break. It's only...
I know about telegraphs, little papa. I know about trains. I know about electrical currents. On your feet, everybody. Outside, full pack. Even though I still believe in God, I don't like to be made a fool of.
No, Your Honor. I wouldn't do that.
Tell me, little father. You believe in the devil?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, good. Send a telegram. Tell him that Captain Kazan, he knows that a horse has 4 legs. He knows that a murderer has 2 arms. But still, the devil must be afraid of one honest Cossack,
Earth gravity. You know how to measure it?
How to measure gravity?
What I would like to know is, can gravity be overcome?
If you mean, can man get beyond the gravitational field of the Earth into space? Not yet, but any day now.
Someday?
There is a mathematics professor. His name is Tsiolkovsky. He has ideas about rockets. Machines that can fly free of the Earth's gravity.
You know him?
Tsiolkovsky was one of my teachers. He was like a father to me. But why would a man like you be interested?
What do you think is behind all this, Excellency?
Look at this. That's what we saw under the microscope. It shows the Earth as it might look from space.
What does it mean?
It means that millions of years ago, some form of intelligence, came to the Earth from another planet. The atmosphere of the Earth was new to it, different. But it learned how to survive.
How?
By entering into the body and brain of an Earth creature. The fossil that I found and brought with me.
And this thing from another planet survived the fossil, then came to life again?
Exactly.
Go on, Professor.
The animal that you shot was only the host. And when that animal died, the alien intelligence transferred somehow to another host. It's alive. in someone on this train.
You're a very good detective. You discovered everything except who is now the host.
And that's our next step.
Thought this might come in handy.
Oh, good idea.
The two of you together, that's fine. But what if one of you is the monster?
Monster? We're British, you know.
But you must have seen something.
I told you, I was asleep. He knew about the white eyes. He told me.
When you fell asleep, the lights were on. And when you woke up?
They were off.
Are you sure?
Positive. It was dark. I put the lights on. And that's when I found him beside me.
When we did the test, the lights were on.
Master.
Inspector.
This steel at high temperatures, what happens to it?
It gets stronger. What temperatures, for example?
10 or 12,000 degrees.
Where on earth would you get such temperatures?
Nowhere on earth.
Of this, I'll have you sent to Siberia.
I am in Siberia.
This is Countess Irina Petrovska, and I'm Count Marian Petrovsky.
Oh, Your Excellencies, I'm sorry. Of course, the Count and Countess are exempt from our orders. Please, escort them to their car. Peasants. Peasants! Are you a countess?
I'm an American, and I'm not accustomed to being bullied by foreigners. That man, he's the one who wouldn't let us get off the train. He's responsible.
Your Excellency, I'm a police inspector.
Everybody's under arrest! Including you. Who are the killers? Who are the troublemakers? Who are the foreign influences, huh? Oh!
Don't worry. I'll smoke them out. What's he raving about?
You English believe in free speech, don't you, huh?
Certainly. If instead of babbling nonsense, you'd investigate this properly.
Oh! This is outrageous. Oh.
So, you are a police inspector, huh?
Yes, Captain. Mirov is my name.
Mirov? Oh, Mirov. has a good Russian name, Mirov. Tell me, Mirov, what do you know about all the filth that's going on here, huh?
Filth?
Oh, come on, Inspector. Certainly you know what I'm doing here, don't you? You just point out the suspects, and I promise you I'll get the truth out of them.
You're mistaken, sir.
Mistaken?
Fool! Get back! Get back! Back! Or I will put the curse on your heads. He has the evil eye.
Huh?
Beware the wrath of Satan.
Cool, huh? On your knees, monk.
We must try and stop this.
He was trying to protect you. Why?
He's mad.
Who are you?
I told you, a policeman.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in hell.
Now anything that moves near that door, kill it!
But what if the monk is innocent?
We got lots of innocent monks. All right, let's move these peasants out of here, quickly!
care of the others.
What about you?
I'll be all right. Go on.
Will you take this?
Right.
You know, in spite of everything, Pujatov had a certain affection for you. Yet you humiliated him often, even in front of the Countess. It's too late.
I see you hanged.
The poor monk. He loved you more than he loved the promise of heaven.
Over there. Quickly, over there. Irina, behind me.
It would be a mistake to kill me.
Who are you?
In words, it's difficult. I am a form of energy occupying this shell.
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy. I came with others like myself. I was left behind. An accident. I survived in protozoans, fish, vertebrates. The history of your planet is part of me. Pull the trigger, and you will end it.
What am I to do with you?
Let me go.
That's not possible.
It is possible. I will teach you to end disease, pain, hunger. Wait. There's something more.
the express when it goes through the switching point.
Derail it. That means killing everybody on board.
That's what it says. Maybe there's a war. Maybe it's war.
Go, the great Christopher Lee, who managed to act pretty much right up till the end. He's done so much stuff. He did, a lot of. I'm sure he did serious acting, dramatic roles before he got into the horror movies. Most of these guys that are good at that, that's what they did. Of course, Dracula. They did Horror of Dracula, and I think he was in the Frankenstein, the British Frankenstein first. But they really, I don't know. They didn't have a lot of permission to do stuff that he could have done, and
Okay.
but that was that, and they kept him on as Dracula, of course, and then they would pair him with Peter Cushing. They had their sort of British Lugosi and Korolev going, and that worked really well because Peter Cushing was another outstanding actor, and these two just seemed like they just had a blast going back and forth. One would be the good guy, one would be the bad guy, kind of a thing, depending on the movie. The Gorgon was a great example. Probably one of my favorite Hammer horror films was The Gorgon, and of course Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee are in that. And it's basically a story about a modern-day Medusa that's in a castle, and that is straight-up gothic horror. That's one of their best. Actually, Brides of Dracula, another great Hammer film. I guess it's Hammer. Another great one of those, and but just Peter Cushing's in that one. They didn't believe in bringing back the character they killed in the movie before.
Right.
Not then, but then they brought back Christopher Lee as Dracula numerous times, and then he's played in a lot of great other cameos or anthology films like The House That Dripped Blood.
Ooh.
But then Christopher Lee, showed up in a lot of cool stuff. I know he ended up in the the Hobbit Tales. What was those called? Well, Lord of the Rings. I never really got into it, but I mean, it's just interesting that kids know him now. From that, they know him from his part as being the dad in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh.
And of course, he's the judge in the beginning of Sleepy Hollow, and he's the one that sends Ichabod to Sleepy Hollow. And there's a really cool him up on his pedestal up there, and then there's like a statue of some wings behind him, and it's just the way they did that on purpose to give him like the homage to the vampire.
Yep, I like that.
And he was the voice. I believe he's in a voice in Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton.
Yeah.
But there's something else I'm thinking he was in. Oh, there's a great I thought it was the great reversal thing of all time, though. Dark Shadows. Did you see the Johnny Depp, Tim Burton Dark Shadows?
Yes.
You got to kind of give that movie a little time and to figure out what they're doing there with that. And if you do, you might get a more positive light on it. But what cracks me up is they've got Johnny Depp as Barnabas, and what he's really doing is Bela Lugosi's hand move, which Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi shows Johnny Depp in the Ed Wood movie how to do that. So here in Dark Shadows, he's doing this again, but he's hypnotizing Christopher Lee, who's playing like an old fisherman.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that part now.
Right. And then Angelique, that character Angelique, later is talking to Johnny Depp, and she like calls him out. Oh, what are you doing? Hypnotizing fishermen? I just thought that was so. And I can guarantee you that the Dr. Destruction Long Island iced tea at the Boathouse will hypnotize fishermen.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely hypnotize you as well. I'm excited to try it. I definitely want to go out and try it.
Oh, absolutely. We're still looking for artists, models, photographers. It's the 35th annual Dorian Gray Art Show based on the 1945 version of The Picture of Dorian Gray, starring Hurd Hatfield, Angela Lansbury, George Sanders, just a ton of great actors. Peter Lawford's even. They even throw him in. And Donna Reed. I got to give Donna Reed. Donna Reed from the, that Christmas Story with Stewart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got to see that film, the 1945 version of Dorian Gray. We want artwork submitted. Even Lenny Palmer from AM 1050 WLIP is going to have a piece in there. So.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to have a whole list of artists coming up. Watch for that. Of course, that's April 6th, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit. The other next show is at the Port, March 2nd. Fiendish Phantoms, Amsdale, Roosevelt Dolls. But we want to get artists and filmmakers to come out for the 35th annual Dorian Gray Art Show. We will have more on that coming up.
Absolutely. Mark your calendars.
Mark those calendars. Keep it going with the Crimson Theater. Yeah, we got to see if we get Caretaker Collins in here on that Saturday visit when they come down. We're planning a party. It's going to involve, it's going to involve alcohol. It may. It's going to involve Sal's Pizza.
That's my type of party.
Yeah,
a little bit of blood on the side.
There you go.
My own supply.
A little bit of blood. Now, is type O better than type B or A or A?
They are good. I do have a preference more so to type O sometimes because it's very versatile. But I don't know. I'll type whatever you got.
Okay.
So long as it's not like drug infused or anything. Or I prefer non-vegans and non-vegetarians for obvious reasons.
Well, we went from, as far as, the governors, we kind of basically went from Pee Wee Herman, who now is no longer in office. I always said it was Pee Wee's big adventure in Wisconsin, and he burned out fast. And he's been booted. I'm talking about Walker, of course. But he makes a great Wisconsin Pee Wee Herman. So I'm like, really? I mean, I made several jokes about him and Pee Wee Herman. He was a terrible governor for Kenosha. Anyway. No matter what you think. He burned out real fast. He shouldn't have ran for president, I don't think. I think that killed him. And I'm not
forgot about that.
I'm not choosing any party here. I'm just watching the show. Okay. Well, now we got a new governor, Evers. But God, doesn't he look like Orville Redenbacher? So we're going to keep Kenosha popping again, I guess. So we went from Pee Wee Herman to Orville Redenbacher.
I wonder who's next.
Huh?
So I wonder who will be
next. Well, I got to admit, the guy came out of nowhere. I thought they didn't even, Democratic Party they weren't even organized with a candidate, and Walker was out there campaigning like no tomorrow, and they hadn't even decided on their person. So I was pretty impressed when Evers won. Not that I agree with his policies. I don't know if I do or I don't, but I was surprised that he did it because I just thought he had too short a term. Name recognition, but Walker just he was a bad he was even bad at being a Republican. So that's a pretty bipartisan statement. You got to watch these guys. It's a tough business though because one wrong move and you go right down the tubes in the politics. I don't know if I want to be involved in that.
No.
But I like to watch. It's good to pay attention.
good to pay attention and to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
But we may become, who knows? We may become the popcorn capital of the world, Wisconsin.
That'd be cool. I do like popcorn a lot.
It'd have to be cheese popcorn, but...
I like cheese popcorn. I do.
All right. You have a horrifying week, Ghoulies. We'll see you next time on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater. If you're not watching Crimson Theater, you're obviously not having a good time.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 14, Kenosha Community Television. Remember to tune into my program, Just Talkin', shown right here, Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Channel 14. On the program, we cover community events, talk to nonprofit organizations, and who knows, we may bump into a celebrity now and then. So remember to tune in to Just Talkin' Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. right here on Channel 14.
Kenosha Community Media. Kenosha Community Media serving the greater Kenosha area for over 30 years. Kenosha Community Media is your TV station. You are Kenosha Community Media.
Screaming relaxes me so.